Universe. Okay, Commissioner Cagle. Commissioner Heisler. Here. Commissioner Jacobson. Here. Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Mathias.
Here.
Commissioner McHale.
Here.
Commissioner Anderson.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The changes to the agenda. Maybe the. Amended.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And approved. All right, so, matter from the public. We have, Sydney Moody, who wants to speak. Sydney?
Yep.
You got it.
I've got matters about our channel again, and my wonderful husband filled up this jar with some muck. So this is the 3.5 feet. This is the substance that makes up the channel right now. I'll just put this over here, or here. And you guys see how it's like not soil?
You can pass it around.
Sure, we can pass it around, okay.
Open it up.
Right. So in 1994, when the channel was dredged, it was 6 feet deep with the bottom. It wasn't 3.5 feet of that, which it is right now. So we've been doing our research, reading articles, trying to see why we should continue asking the city to dredge the channel. 78% of the lake's water comes through the channel, which is filtered from Lippold. And Lippold used to be a sod farm. And we found articles from local papers talking about how there's arsenic and toxins in the Lippold Park Pond, in the Lippold Park ponds, and that's draining, you know, through whatever other drains, including our drain, into the channel, into the lake. Arsenic can remain in soil for hundreds of years, and it's common fact some farmers use arsenic-based herbicides to kill weeds. So I did print out articles that I'd really appreciate if you guys could read. One of them, I'd appreciate if you could try to read. It's a little fuzzy. I'm gonna pass them around, and I believe I have enough for everyone. We want to know if the muck has ever been tested for toxins like arsenic, or there was an article talking about diesel fuel coming into the dirt because, can you? Well, there's 3, all right. There's an article talking about how the truck bed of a dump truck would be lined with diesel fuel, and then it'll dump loads of dirt. And they took dirt from Veteran Acres to Lippold, and they dumped it, and then there was an uproar about how diesel fuel is going into the wetlands, and how they're not supposed to do that, but they did. And then we found this article from 2007. You guys, Crystal Lake hired an engineer to go over the Crystal Lake watershed stormwater management design manual. We weren't able to find the results of that. It costed $6,000 for this man to review the manual. So we would like it if we could read these findings and see if the channel was involved in that man's, you know, interpretation of how good it is or not. And then also we have this article that isn't very good quality, but if you care enough, it'd be pretty easy to find. It's from 2007, talking about the Crystal Lake Watershed and Ecology Agency. They were criticizing the Park District for not incorporating their suggestions into the filter and how it was letting silt and sand in And then we were wondering if the filter had ever been tested by any outside agencies. So the point of my articles and my presentation today are, can we find out if there is toxins coming into the muck? And what else is in the muck that is being deposited into the lake? And can you guys help us get rid of the muck once and for all by dredging and or improving the filter so that the channel neighborhood could stay, you know, safe and a healthy channel? Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Our Shannon watershed manual is pretty restrictive. You can get that from the city. It's effective. We do have our folks looking into this, and we expect you to report sometime.
Thank you.
Okay, Sherry Law, please.
Not at all. I guess, I have some similar things here to report, and I too have 3 pages to go through. I know. You know, a dozen copies, I don't know if that's enough here. So I did a summary of some of these articles that we were just talking about. It started, as you said, in '94, when the engineer said that the Crystal Lake silt probably came from the sod farm. Then in August, actually late July, the dredging machine went into Crystal Lake channel. And at that time, it was Park Director Kirk Reimer who shopped around, and they hired CNC dredging to clean up the channel. It was $18,000. From what I can tell now, and I don't have any connections, of course, for dredging, but it sounds like it's like triple. It's closer to 60,000 now to dredge that channel. It's 1 block long. In Chicago, again, this is some of the things that Sydney talked about. They found some hazardous things in the muck. PNAs, diesel fuel, arsenic. The arsenic actually came from, they were dredging at that time at Veterans Park, and they had, I don't know how many truckloads of this stuff they came and dumped over at Lippold Park. And then when they did that, they were going to build a berm in Lippold Park for one of the soccer fields, and then they found the arsenic and ended up bringing all that truckloads back over to Veterans Park because of that arsenic. Then in '99, Gary Schaefer, who was the president of Hay at the time, he and Associates, he said that the silt was not up to speed. The project we're at now is where we wanted to be 3 years ago. He said the lake water shows a 4-year trend of deterioration coinciding with the start of the Lippold Park mitigation in '95. So things started to go downhill when they did the whole wetlands project. And I don't know, was anybody around at that time, back from '94? No. So all new people from the park board and in Hay and Associates since that time. Then they decided to spend $25,000 on this lake filter. And at that time, Gary Schaefer said a large amount of muck gets into the lake, 5 to 6 times the amount of silt entering the lake through the channel this year compared to last year. So this is in '99, 5 years after they dredged, and they're trying to do all this stuff to make the water more clear going through the drain pipe. Then in 2000, they said the Watershed Management and Lake Ecology Agency said the sand filter was partially working but needs improvement, so more silt can be removed. And then I think Cindy mentioned that 68% of overland water entering the lake comes from this drain pipe that's going through our channel. And when they did some aerial photos, you could see that the muck, which we have 3 to 5 feet in our channel now, is sliding into the lake. And you probably maybe have heard from some of the West Beach people about that. it's all eventually, I think, gonna slide into the lake because the water just runs through there. Then if you look at the two sets of pictures, and I apologize, they're not very good quality. I was gonna bring I had a little projector from my phone, but didn't get a chance to get that projector approved before coming tonight. So, the first page is the one that just shows the water going through. So there's about 12 to 15 feet on each side, probably as big as this room, that's coming in on each side. It's all pure muck. Then there's a little trail in the middle of the water trying to get through the muck. We've had a loss of our property use because we can't use our property. We can't use our boats. We can't get if you can see, we're sitting on the muck all summer because they can't get out to the lake. And many of us bought our house because we're on the channel to the lake, to get the boat out to the lake. In the next photo, and I think I mentioned last time, the fear is that children getting stuck in this, and that we've had these kids come in from the sides, the corners, and we own the bottom, we own the ground under the muck. So apparently we can't chase off boats if they want to slide in from the lake, as long as they don't touch the bottom. But these kids are trying to play it's like a big muck pile. It seems like fun for kids, right? They're 10 to 12 years old, but it's very dangerous. The top photo, you can see the kid is up to his knees in the muck. And this is across from Tina's house, who's here. And she said to call the police.
I don't know twice, but my neighbors have called a number of
Yeah.
times because one day there were 20 children down in the channel and they're calling their friends to come and play in the mud. And this has been going on for 4 or 5 weeks now. I've also called twice.
It's really, I think that Tina was told from the policeman that they only have like 6 policemen in the whole city after 5 o'clock, which is kind of when they're coming. And it's really poor use of resources to keep calling the police to try and get these kids to stay away from this dangerous situation. The bottom one, there's actually a piece of concrete at the end that has fallen into the lake. And these kids are playing on the concrete. And if somebody fell in, it wouldn't be good.
And we're gonna just wrap this up. I'm gonna let you go a bit over.
Sorry?
I let you go a bit over.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. That was all I had. We're just begging you to spread the channel, and we think we have shown enough about the evidence that it all came. It's all coming through the Lippold Park project. And they should have dredged after they figured it out.
I think you're saying whether it's our property or not, we've done it before, and maybe we should.
Yeah. I know you weren't here for this. I understand it, but we need help sadly. Thank you.
Thank you. Wayne McIntyre, do you wanna?
Yeah,
Let me see. Go ahead. State your address too.
okay. I'm right over by their house. My name's Tom McIntyre. I don't have anything prepared last minute. I live at 4-3 Honeysuckle. That street is in line with the Lippold Park back entrance. Had a couple problems with Park District police speeding down our street to get to the trail, and also speeding down the trail to get out to Thornwood. The first time it happened, I believe it was August 12th. We called Crystal Lake Non-Emergency Police. The lady said, she apologized. She said, I think there's an emergency going on. Well, if there was an emergency, there was no lights. You didn't have any lights on at all. So I think that's kind of crazy. The trail, I was on my bicycle with my girlfriend on our way to dinner. We always take the trail, and he was going ridiculously fast. There was Lippold Park had a football game going. There was just tons of kids out there. I mean, I don't think there's no need to really rip around. If there was an emergency, you should have his lights on. Okay. Just the other day, coming from I think Burberry, I'm not sure where that's.
Bayberry?
Bayberry.
is on the other side of the channel.
Yeah, so Bayberry, then I got Honeysuckle. I believe it was the same police officer. I'm not sure. I'm not here to get anyone in trouble. Ripping down the street, and I even looked at him and I was like, slow down. Before I even knew it was a police officer car. Then I saw Park District. I'm like, what are the chances of that? And I just see this guy shaking his head. Whatever. and he went right into Liverpool Park. So I was, I didn't know what to do. I told my girlfriend, hey, we should call the police again. She's like, that's not gonna do nothing. I reached out to a friend of mine. He said maybe come and speak at in front. If you guys maybe something would be taken care of or something can be said. But we have tons. Our street is the main street off the trail where people are walking around the lake, around their bikes around the lake. It's nonstop. It's really nonstop. We have a ton of kids. I think we have about 9 kids on our street, always outside. I have 2 kids. So to have a Park District police vehicle speeding down the street, they're there to like slow down traffic. They're not there to, be speeding like that. So
Did you say this was on October 12th,
August 12th was the first incident.
8/12, and then was the second one?
I think it was over the weekend. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure on the date.
But maybe the 13th or 14th, 15th?
Sure.
October?
Yes. So that's all I have really to say. I mean, like I said, I think it's unacceptable, and I just wanted to let you guys know. And go from there.
We'll look into it and let us know, keep the date, because they keep logs, so. We can
Okay. And do we call the Crystal Lake Police?
Call me.
Okay. And if it's at night or something, would we just leave a message saying, hey, okay?
In the time, in the date and time, because we know who's working, we don't have a lot of officers on.
Sure.
So it's pretty easy to pinpoint.
So
Okay.
it's emergency will be logged.
Okay. And like I said, you gotta go through local park to cut through, fine. Put your lights on, beep your horn a little bit. So, especially those some turns around there, kids riding their bikes. I'm sure you guys all know that. I don't have to preach, but I just think that's totally unnecessary. So I'll say thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, was there one more? I didn't see another yes out here.
Maybe I didn't sign up correctly. Phil Holzer's my name?
Yeah.
Thanks. My name is Phil Holzer. I live at 84 Cedar Drive. I live on the channel. And I wanted to talk about a couple of things. I received a letter from the Park District concerning the silt, and the Park District said that it was our property, and they felt that the silt was coming from our properties. I have some pictures here. I can pass them around. There's 3 different things I want to mention. On my my property, I moved there 20 years ago. I knew I was living next to water now, so I wanted to address possible stuff going into the water. So I cut down all the trees on my property. I planted ground cover on the land going down the channel to prevent soil erosion. Downspouts from my gutters go in a 4-inch drain tile, which the drain tile goes directly into the channel, so it minimizes the water runoff to go into the channel. So I did everything I could on my own to prevent soil erosion filling up the channel. But since then, we've still had a bunch of silt buildup. So I've done everything I can. You'll see in the pictures what the trees on the property used to look like, what it looks like now. The tree's gone. There is about 100 feet of property, and I'm located at where the culvert is from Liverpool Park. Right near the entrance, the people on the other side of the channel, about 100 feet, there's absolutely no trees on either one of our properties. But the silt level in the channel is still all the same. You would think that if trees were a major contributor to the silt building up, there'd be more silt where the trees are at, not where there's no trees. But it's a level coating of silt throughout the channel, the muck salt. So that's one thing. In the pictures, on September 28th, I was playing around in the marketing channel. You'll see on top of the silt, from the Lipple culvert, you'll see some sand, some fresh sand is on top of the silt. I'm not too sure where that sand is coming from. I believe it's coming from the culvert. And if the silt, if the sand is coming in through the culvert, then I'm pretty sure silt could make its way in there too. That's something else I wanted to bring up to your attention. And then last, it's more of a question on honeysuckle, between the addresses of 47 and 48. Within the last 10 years, the street was opened up and dug down to the culvert that leads from Lipple Park to the channel. And it was cut open. You could see the water running through that. Does anybody know why that was done? Was there a leak? Was there a problem with that culvert? And that is within the last 10 years, maybe 5 to 10 years.
I think that had to do with the work that they were doing on the water project at North Shore. The flooding issue on North Shore. Don't hold me to that, but
Okay.
it rings a bell.
Here, you might know, did you know?
I think it's my neighbor. They opened it up. They had a permit, got a permit from the city and everything, and they hooked all their drain lines into it. They had to drill in, and it was a big project. I didn't live there at the time, but I showed me pictures and stuff. So maybe that's what it is. But the little culvert, I think, kind of, I don't know if it got ruined, but something what he said, how the city how to put it back wasn't like proper way was how I took it.
So like that somebody's storm sewers draining into that.
We're gonna get going. Do you have anything else for us?
Oh, no, but thank you for your time. Thanks for listening to me. I do appreciate it.
Your pictures are coming around.
Okay, any other matters from the public?
I'll be real quick. My name's Carol Schroeder. I live at 99 Bayberry. I've lived there for over 35 years. And I was here when they first dredged the channel. But I guess my concern is, because I'm sitting on my deck, I can see the whole channel. And just within the last week with the kids coming there, there was one who was in the elementary school. He was there with a bunch of his friends. And I heard him yelling, help, help, in a panic kind of a help way. But then I believe Tina called the police, but then his other friends said, oh, don't worry. And they helped him out of it. There was a dock right there, and two of them helped him out of there. But it just, it's just that it's just so dangerous. And then the same day, I took a video, which I think Sherry has, but she can't show it right now. There's some other kids playing down at the other end of the channel, knee deep in silt. And the kids, I could hear them going around the corner, yelling, get out, they're calling the police, they're just, they're freaking out. I guess my biggest concern is, okay, these guys can get out, but what about their younger brothers and sisters, other kids in the neighborhood that see them doing this and having fun, and they go there, and they get stuck in there, and if they fall over, they're not gonna be able to get up, and in a matter of 3 or 4 minutes, something could really devastating happen, and that's what I just wanted to let y'all know.
Anybody else? All right, move on to staff inspection.
Heidi, if you want to stand up, just briefly, I wanted to make sure that for those of you that have not met Heidi before, this is Heidi Stolt. Heidi was our recreation and aquatics supervisor. She has been promoted to our manager of recreation programs. So we're very excited to have her up with a new role within the organization. She has been with us now for several years. She is the one that is mainly responsible for the revenue growth in our youth athletics, in our martial arts, and more specifically at Main Beach and at West Beach. So she's been a fantastic addition to the staff before, and we're looking forward to having her having an even bigger role within the organization.
Is that a report directly to you?
Yes.
Previously, a report to you?
It's filling a position that was open before, so I was her supervisor before, and unfortunately for her, I'm still her supervisor. It is. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all good. Thank you. Next agenda, your consent agenda. Everyone's off the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
It's my decision, but I will roll call and see if anybody wants. No, we're not saying it's roll call. What's that? Doesn't. Maybe you're right. It's not my decision. We're gonna roll call anyway. Roll call.
Commissioner Heisler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobson,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Mathias,
Yes.
Commissioner McHale.
Yeah.
Commissioner Anderson.
Yes. Okay, new business. Approval of the Chevy Silverado. Tell us about that.
I'll put it over there.
Yeah. It's all this. On purpose of us.
Purpose to use truck, replacing another truck. Yep, snowplow package, strobes, everything is, you know, part of that.
This seems like a good deal. We budgeted 70, we're getting 60.
Yep, that's correct.
So we need a motion to approve the purchase of the 2023 Chevy Silverado from Martin Chevy.
I move to purchase the silver 2023 Chevy Silverado truck.
Second. Discussion? All in favor? All right, we're gonna roll call this. Spend the money, right? Usually do. Yeah. Okay, roll call please.
Commissioner Jacobson,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Mathias,
Yes.
Commissioner McHale.
Yes.
Commissioner Heisler,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson.
Yes. Okay. Main Beach Deck.
There too.
This time.
So yes, it's gonna replace the deck that's currently there at Main Beach. It's not gonna be any different other than, you know, scope of size of the deck. It's gonna be composite material now. And if you look at the pictures that were included, you'll see on the front, there's a concrete steps that go up. That's gonna be fine tuned. It's gonna be gone over with concrete to kind of fill in the holes and things. And that's gonna be on top of that, it's gonna be same type of decking material. That's going throughout the deck, composite material. That's really sums that up. But we're hoping to get it done for winter, so it's fall. It's approved.
And who was the low bidder on that?
CJM Construction.
So can we get a motion to approve the? Okay, Second,
Second.
discussion? Okay, roll call?
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Mathias.
Yes.
Yeah. Commissioner Heisler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobson,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson.
All right, so now the exciting one. We're gonna go into the aggregate levy determination. So I think the purpose of all this was to put the figures together based on the 4% that we discussed for the aggregate levy. And also to let us know whether the Truth in Taxation Act requires us to have a public hearing on this, right?
Mhm.
I have some questions. Then, unless somebody else wants to go. All right, so what do you mean by the county provided us only the CPI 6.5? You didn't provide other information?
Previously, they would give us an actual sheet that would show what our, maximum, what their projected maximum was for us to increase our levy by. And they discontinued using or getting us those projections. And they now just give us, an estimated EAV, and then we do the calculations now. So,
Or we don't need that because we're saying 4%.
correct, right.
So that's,
Right, it's just, it was a starting point to develop the numbers used in the levy. So, it was their projections that they were giving us, what they thought the highest amount would be.
But we didn't use the CPI in our estimation this time.
Well, right, yeah, they give us the CPI information to let us know whether or not it's the CPI or the 5% limitation from the PTEL.
So we know it's 5%.
Correct.
All right, and so, there was a talk about revenue recapture on the spreadsheet.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
I'm gonna say 2 years ago,
I know, so 2021, there was a law that was passed, the Levy Adjustment Act. So it's anytime there was a certificate of error or an successful assessment reduction or other court order that made us pay property tax back, we got this back the next year and added to our levy. Right?
I think there might be they might be two separate things. Because the law was something that we would need to, provide an ordinance, I believe, if we didn't want to participate in that.
Right,
But-
this is automatic.
Yeah, this is automatic, so,
It's an amendment to the property tax code, 2021 amendment to the property tax code. We had to give money back. It's just saying next year.
We get, yeah, right.
And so that, it looks to me like you included that amount in the aggregate levy figure for purposes of calculating our increase this year.
It's part of the extension, yes.
Okay, so but that's not how the law reads on that. It says specifically, adjustments for certificate of error, et cetera. For purposes of the property tax extension limitation law, taxing district's most recent aggregate extension dates, 2022, shall not include the prior year adjustment authorized under this law.
Okay,
So that we need to recalculate the numbers without that.
okay.
Right? And then
Well, it's twice. Is it in here? Because I think, I'm only seeing it in the 2022 extension,
I'm seeing it here.
right, which was last year's.
Right,
Right, so what you do is you take last year's, and then you take this year's, and you determine what the percentage difference is, and if it's more than 5%, you have to have a public hearing, you have to publish, right?
right,
So if you're including that in your base for 2022, then you're not getting the full percentage, right? Your percentage increase is gonna be more because that's not to be included in the aggregate extension for the previous year. Tina, you know what I'm saying?
I understand the computation, yes. I'll have to look at the spreadsheet to see if I do have that included in that
Well,
total.
I ran your figures.
And it is, okay. Okay,
So.
I put that in there so that the actual 22 extension was there, so that the full amount was there. Okay. You don't, okay.
So,
Well, it's only in the calculation of the difference between the 2 years. I'm not,
this is for truth and taxation.
right, just to calculate the percentage.
So the Truth in Taxation Act requires us to say, yes, we calculated this and it's less than 5%, so we didn't have a public hearing, we didn't publish our truth in taxation notice. Now I've got to sign something, I've got to sign the levy and say, just and swear to that.
Right,
So
right.
we got to redo the numbers.
Okay.
And then I also want to talk about, this is super complicated the way this is. So the truth in taxation is really easy, right? One, it's corporate and special revenue,
Mhm.
right? It's not, you don't take handicap and put that with debt service, which is what you've done.
Well, it's the reason that they're separated like that is because that's the non-capped portions.
Truth in taxation doesn't address them.
I
It's
understand
nothing-
that, but the way the spreadsheet is laid out is there's capped, which is related to the PTEL, and then there's non-capped that's not related to the PTEL. But for truth in taxation, you do have to include the special revenue or the special
So
recreation.
here in the future, truth in taxation just exactly what the statute says. This is the notice, right? And so what it says is, this is our corporate special purposes for 2022. We give the amount. This is our proposed corporate special for 2023. What's the difference, right?
Mhm.
And then also with debt service, right? Debt service extension base. This was last year, this is this year, what's the difference? And then the final piece of that is combine them all together and tell us what the difference is. This is impossible. I do this for a living, and I have trouble following.
I think this was developed from when you were on the board previously.
Taxation is something different, they're related,
Mm,
but I'm gonna give you this, and just lay it out like this, because we can.
They're saying not to merge.
Not to merge the two, and also, special rec, it's part of special purposes, it's not something you separate out. You separate it out for P-TEL.
well, right,
But
and I think the spreadsheet was just trying to encompass all those things in one, so rather than having multiple pieces of paper to look at.
It's just so hard to plug the special rec back into the others, when, for purposes of truth and taxation, it's super simple. It's something we're gonna publish, and it's easy for the public to understand, it's gonna be easy for us to understand.
Right.
So don't, and also, when we said our aggregate levy is 4%, we didn't take out special rec from that aggregate. We said 4% for the aggregate. The debt service extension base is different, so you've done 4% for all of the aggregate, except you took out special rec and did that based on some other calculation.
Well, I mean, special rec, we usually do the ceiling rate on that,
You didn't say that anything too picky, but
because it's not
Aggregate levy.
capped. So-
aggregate levy under P-TEL and truth and taxation includes special rec. Okay, so it was 4% across the board for the aggregate.
No, it's not under P-TEL.
Aggregate means the annual corporate levy of the taxing district for those special purposes. It's not under, oh, I'm sorry, you're saying it's not under P-TEL, meaning.
Right, it's not
by
capped,
P-TEL.
right.
But the definition of aggregate is, it includes it. Right? Well, I don't have the P-TEL from it, as far as truth and taxation. So that's really what we're talking about, it's like, public now, what
Okay.
we're doing, right? So
Well, I indicate in the memo, the proposed cap funds, including which is corporate rec, IMRF, liability, audit, natural history, shows the increase, and then I think I had it in there, maybe I didn't.
yeah, you kind of.
Yeah, 'cause then I put the proposed-
Debt services in there without saying what happened to special rec.
Well, special rec is a separate paragraph, and then the second page shows the proposed special rec levy is an increase, dollar amount, from the 22 levy, and this will cover the dues that we pay in the 24-25 budget.
No. Appreciate what it's for, and we can probably bring that first. Truth and taxation. Truth and taxation, let's just do the basics so that we can understand it.
Okay.
And do it according to the act. And, I thought that 4% was for everything other than our debt service, which is our aggregate levy. The rest of the board doesn't think of it, fine. You know,
That's not how we've approached it previously. It was the 4% and then including, or in addition to the 4%, the new growth, because new growth, this is the first point of taxation for that new growth. So-
New growth basic questions. So, what I'm talking about just 4%. 4% applies to everything, including special tax. Okay, that's what I thought that we were doing.
Hmm.
Others thought something different, and that's.
I think, well, how I presented it was related to the capped funds, not the others.
But I'm fine with that, because I don't think it's a big difference
Mm,
if everybody else is. I think we need, yeah, anyway, I'm fine with it, if anybody else isn't, let her know. In the future, though, let's be clear about that. Whatever we set it,
Mhm.
it includes a special tax. Okay? That's all I have. I think we're gonna have to recalculate it some time.
It will take a little bit, yeah. Do you want that as like just a,
Well, I just want to know
Like
if
a-
we're 4 or 5%.
Right.
We're really close,
right,
right? So we're saying we're doing 4%, but with the new property, it gets real close.
right.
I
Well-
corrected when I was like, that's 4.89 or something. That's ridiculous.
Well, we were at 4.987 last year. And we didn't do, and it's under the 5%, so we did not do truth and taxation then.
You just got-
right.
Lucky 2 years in a row. I
Right.
found that. So,
Right.
check.
Well, and I mean, yeah, that's the point, yeah.
So I think we have time if we do this at the community board meeting. We can take action, so we'll just approve it.
Just do it there?
Yeah.
Okay,
That'll be in the November 2nd.
is that 20 days for determination of funds then?
So we could do the ordinance at the committee of the whole meeting in December to, if we want to do it earlier than December.
Right, I was just thinking if we did the committee of the whole meeting for the approval of the funds, then it wouldn't be 20 days to the next meeting, to the November meeting. We would, oh,
Our figures aren't gonna change. These are our figures. So we're fine with passing our levy, because we got our tentative figures. We
it's
don't
just
know
whether or not it's the
what
truth and
figure.
taxation, I gotcha.
Fine. Let's just find out then.
Okay,
Whether it's time to publish or not, I guess.
okay.
Will there won't be.
So it's, they're approving the amount here today.
I think we are tentatively approving them out.
Yeah.
Want to change that special bracket.
Okay, it's just whether or not we need to do the truth and taxation part of it then. Okay,
So that's the only thing that's off the schedule to pay. To the, or to the taxation.
which the truth and taxation is the 7, no, less than 7,
That's what.
right,
It's only $14,000, so you might be more in trouble.
right. Well, the, yeah, the November meeting though should still be good related to doing the, actual levy ordinance. Yeah. Okay, all right,
But we can't have. We can't pass, but if we did.
correct. Which the public hearing would usually be, ahead of the meeting that the levy is approved.
Yeah.
Or accepted. Yeah.
This is it.
Move on.
So we could move on to the fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a motion to approve the tentative aggregate levy figures.
So. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, discussion items. We'll discuss the, is we're waiting for the report on the channel.
So Hayes working on that. They're reviewing all of their files. Obviously, the articles are only one side of the story, so they're trying to pick up the information, all of that. All of that. And from what I understand, there's looping. Thank you, Gary Schaefer, into the project as well. So hopefully, I'll follow up with them and see if they can do something better.
Nice to know whether we did dredge that.
I know that we did it once, that I know for sure. And that was because of when the construction was going on, contractors, devices to keep stuff from going out failed, and we did throw the channels. So as far as some of these other things, we do still have to vet that out.
It's two more.
I just have two quick things to add, Scott. Two quick things to add. Hill Farm Barn Community Input Meeting is next Tuesday, the 24th at 6 o'clock at Main Beach. He's done a great job of promoting that and putting together all the materials for that. It's getting some legs. I people maybe showing up to ask to keep the farm, but we'll see where all that goes. So if you could make that, that would be great. And then the annual Festival of Lights Parade is scheduled for the Friday after Thanksgiving, November 24th at 7 p.m. I want to see if the board is interested in having a flow in. So, anyone interested in riding on that, or we put the work into it? Anyone interested in being on Linda's float?
My 3 kids, they loved it so much last year, they're doing it again. Last year, they're like, and then I'm like, let's do that. It was fun.
I'll do it.
Want to go then?
I'm good. Okay.
It's pretty fun, it really is fun.
And it's quick, it's not,
It is.
it's not as long as the.
And you get the best view.
You
You don't have to deal with all.
That's right. No crowds.
All right, we will get that signed up and ready to go. That's all I had. Tina, you got anything else?
No, you have the report that I presented, so if there's anything you have questions on.
I had a question about the auditing situation.
Okay,
Was that part of your report?
yes.
Here? Can you explain that?
Explain why we did an extension?
Yeah.
So there was a timing issue in our accounts payable, reports from what was posted to the general ledger. And it was a little more difficult to, research it, and it took a couple extra weeks. And then once I got that information back to the auditors, they had to review it as well. So that kind of pushed us past the point of getting it ready by this meeting. So they asked for an extension, which is typical. There are agencies that do it. There's no black marks about it. It's just a basically extra time to get it, the audit to the state and then approved by the board. Or approved by the board and then the state.
So looks, now going back to your financial materials or bank statements. And, there's one statement that it looks like you got everything pretty much in, 5% yielding accounts, which is great.
Mhm.
But one of them said estimated, and I think it was around 4 million, estimated interest was like $40,000. I mean, even if you just funded that, it'd be more than that, so. Look at that, give a chance, I'll try to. It should be.
Do you remember which one it was?
It's fifth there.
The fifth term. Well, the interest doesn't usually post on the CDs until the maturity. There's some of them that post monthly and some of them that post at maturity.
Yeah, so it says estimated annual. So
Yeah.
check the estimated.
Estimated annual.
And then on the home state bank one, which we're getting like 3.19, that's in municipal accounts. I don't know why municipal accounts pay less, right? Because they're tax exempt. The interest rate is tax exempt. We don't care because we don't pay tax anyway, right?
No.
So I think we might be in the wrong account. 3% is great. You don't have to pay tax on it, but you're not paying tax anyway.
Well,
Why be in a municipal account?
the person that we had a new account rep come in maybe a month or two ago, and she was looking at the accounts and what our what we would fit into, and she felt that that was the highest percentage one that we would fit into. So she did up it from what we did have before, because I think we're in a lower percent before.
Check another bank. That's 5 million. 3.1%.
Right, and we just received more tax money, so I'll actually be moving that into a higher interest account later this month.
I mean, forever, how long we carried it? We carried over 5 million. It's quite a lot of that. I'm just concerned that we're not maximum. I don't see why we have 3%.
Yeah.
3% is great if you're not paying interest on income. We don't paying tax on income.
Right.
That's not us.
Well, and we don't pay fees too, so they usually put us in a little bit less account, a lesser interest earning account, because we don't pay fees for our banking.
Check your math, because I think that they tell what we need funds like this, 5%, 3% doesn't make sense. I've been wrong before. Everybody else?
Just real quick, I was going to say that it had been brought up at one of the previous board meetings about one of our buildings being used as a shelter in case of an emergency. The Red Cross actually reached out to us this week and said, hey, it's that time of, not that time of year, once every several years, apparently, they like to check the buildings to make sure it's still viable. And they said, could we come out and tour your buildings? So we said, sure. So they're going to be coming out hopefully in November to take a look at the Racket Club. They said we are one of 4 emergency shelters in McHenry County, because originally she said there's 4 buildings. I'm like, we do not have 4 buildings like that. And then she said, no, it's 4 for McHenry County, and we are one of them. So they will be coming out in November to take a look at the Racket Club. Yeah.
Nothing to add, no, 100%.
I got a quick question. Hill Farm Park public meeting, were there postcards sent out to the neighbors?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't really the address, and then I also brought over some extra postcards to the city hall. Make signs out, and online, we have it's our banner, and you click and actually have comments. We had a few handful of comments. Cool.
Is that meeting outside?
Inside, Main Beach.
Inside.
It's gonna be at Main Beach South, but so I'm very forward for that.
I guess I didn't know what you.
The building.
Yes. Okay, all right, matters from the board.
Heard with the American Red Cross, right? So every so often they are checking to see.
She just sent an email and said, hey, it's been a while. We need to come out and check your building. So I don't know how often they run, it's not like when it's time for voting, they come out yearly to make sure that our, facilities are ADA accessible and all that kind of stuff. For the Red Cross, I don't know if this is hey, we come out once every 10 years, once every 5 years. But they'll come out and check and see, we have a whole sheet that shows, are there showers, how much hole is on the doors, is it ADA accessible, all that kind of stuff.
Have you ever used
I
I
don't,
want to say like 10 or 12 years ago, they approached us to talk about it, but then they just went away. Nothing ever came of it and stopped. So I found out we were on the list. I was kind of surprised. Nothing formal ever came through from those back discussions.
the first discovery email that came in, I thought it might have been a hoax. I mean, we don't get many random emails from the Red Cross saying, hey, we want to look at your buildings and whatnot. So we had to make some calls and do a little digging to make sure this is legitimate.
So, I'd like to move to an executive session. Litigation / personnel.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. Hyatt?
Yeah.
Mr.
And everybody, the board and our recording secretary.
Johnson?
Oh,
Sorry.
well.